Hey guys, middle pillar perspective back, and I know it's been a moment since I posted last. I'm still figuring out the logistics of this process and what makes it's going to be uh, a smoother and more expedited way of going about the production aspect of it. Plus, still trying to figure out how I want to go about filming these, and I give it a lot of thought. Sometimes I probably go overkill with being a perfectionist. It kind of sucks because you second guess things all the time, and you'll do something and be like, "Oh, it's not good enough for me," and then delete it and all this good shit. But whatever. As I said in my intro, what I really want to do is be as objectively balanced as possible. So I not only will call people out on their BS, but I also want to give them their kudos, the attaboys or the pats on the back when it's also needed, and also point out, if at all, not everyone is a benefit to society, but if they have the potential of that, I would like to point that out and emphasize on that. One of the things that I've seen, the person that I'm focusing on this video is Kamala Harris. Reason being is I don't think she got a fair shake. I blame it on a multitude of things. One, the Democratic Party trying to orchestrate and micromanage the hell out of their side of the aisle, and to her large ambition. The ego will destroy you faster than anything else, and the combination of those two things, I think, have put her in a very they put her in a pretty horrible position for something that should have been extremely monumental. The term they like to use a lot of times is making history on the right side of history. She was not, unfortunately, not on the right side of history. But I hear she is possibly going to run for governor and has a really good chance of winning that. And I'm 100% in support of that because I believe that's much more her pace. I think she was in over her skis as vice president. And it was, unfortunately, the carrot, as I spoke on before in one of my previous videos, was dangled in front of her face to be the first black woman vice president of the United States of America. But she had to make certain concessions that we all are well aware of. And that put her in a bad place, unfortunately. But one thing I noticed that really piqued my interest in her was I'd seen some of her. Because I've not really ever been very political. I've just stayed out of it. I think the first time Trump ran, I wrote myself on the ballot and voted for myself. I was gonna vote for Hillary until I found out how much of a shyster she was, and I was like, well, you know what? I don't have an option that's worth a damn either way, so I'm choosing me. So. But anyways, I saw some of Kamala's earlier interviews when she was actually in the Democratic primary running against Joe Biden. I was blown away. I mean, completely floored with how well this woman conducted herself, how articulate she was, how fearless she actually was. She wasn't up there cackling and fumbling and mumbling and bumbling and looking like she had never spoken in front of a crowd before. She was not like that. And I'm going to share some clips and for juxtaposition purposes to help sell what I believe transpired to pretty much lose her the presidential race. So let's go with the first clip.
So the bottom line here is, look, everything I've done in my career, I ran because of civil rights. I continue to think we have to make fundamental changes in civil rights. And those civil rights, by the way, include not just only African Americans, but the LGBT community.
But Vice President Biden, do you agree today that you were wrong to oppose busing in America then?
No,
do you agree?
I did not oppose busing in America. What I opposed is busing ordered by the Department of Education. That's what I opposed.
Well, there was a failure of states to integrate public schools in America. I was part of the second class to integrate Berkeley, California public schools almost 2 decades after Brown v. Board of Education.
Because your city council made that decision. It was a local decision.
So that's where the federal government must step in. That's why we have the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act. That's why we need to pass the Equality Act. That's why we need to pass the ERA, because there are moments in history where states fail to preserve the civil rights of all people.
I have supported the ERA from the very beginning when I ran for the
Biden, 30 seconds, because I want to bring other people into this.
I supported the ERA from the very beginning. I'm the guy that extended the Voting Rights Act for 25 years. We got to the place where we got 98 out of 98 votes in the United States Senate doing it. I've also argued very strongly that we, in fact, deal with the notion of denying people access to the ballot box. I agree that everybody, once they, in fact, they should. Anyway, my time's up. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So, as you can see, she was a bulldog. I mean, right in on it. She was just right on old Joe's heels in that debate, and was unrelenting, and was concise. It was like I said, I was floored to see that woman compared to what she was with as the Vice President of the United States. You know, I suspected anyways, because I'd heard in the beginning that she wasn't even on Joe's list, ex-President Biden's list for running mates initially, and she was kind of pushed into it by, I'm assuming, Obama and Pelosi, because I heard also, which I didn't research yet, but she didn't do very well in the primary. I know that. I don't think she got any votes, or next to no votes, period. Or just there wasn't enough to matter when she went against Joe Biden. Which, I mean, they were propping Joe up anyways to run him. And it's also, you could see in that clip too, just how together Biden was. Nothing like he became, and I mean quickly. And that's the way any kind of mental ailment progresses. It's very fast. It's very aggressive. It takes no time at all for you for your faculties to start breaking down. I've seen it happen multiple times with different forms of dementia, and people losing just the elasticity and mental acuity of their memory and stuff. It's very sad, that they utilized Joe Biden for that, and they knew it was coming. Like, it was, you see those markers very, very quickly and very early on, and then once that downhill slalom begins, I don't care how much money or medicine you throw at it, you're not going to stop it, and you're not going to delay the inevitability at all. It's just done. It's done. And they knew it. Like, they knew where he was headed. And that was another reason I feel that Kamala Harris was put in that position. She was malleable, just like Joe. Because of her ambition, it put her in a position that she was able to forego her integrity to do what was going to be needed, and that was to lie to cover up for Joe's mental issues that were coming, and they knew it was coming. That's why they hit him out most of the time. That's why he was gone most of the time. But that was part of Kamala's job, was to run interference on that, but also because she was not a popular candidate, they didn't need someone to overshadow Biden because he was the front runner. He was the president of the United States. They needed it to look like he was still in power, that he was the one that was calling, that was the shot caller, even though he wasn't. And we've known that for a long time. We knew he had issues for a long time. No matter what the media was trying to say, they were on straight BS. Like, oh, Joe Scarborough, Joe Biden is cogent. He's cogent, you know. And if you don't believe me, then F you, you know, blah, 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 whatever. Bullshit. Straight bullshit. I mean, there was times that I was questioning whether Kamala Harris was cogent. So, I mean, it's Joe Biden definitely wasn't. He wasn't. But that was the whole purpose. That was the whole purpose. It's nothing but lies, just straight, absolute lies. And Kamala didn't realize how difficult it was going to be because she is a strong, intelligent woman. You can see that in her early interviews. Whether she's a good politician or not, that's definitely debatable. But I don't stand with her on any of her policies, which I'm going to talk about here shortly, too, where they really started hammering them nails into her coffin. I mean, quick, fast, and in a hurry with the BS they tried to pull, you know, on top of, you know, what was it, $1.5 billion that they raised, and then blew it all and was still $20 million in the hole. Like, that does not bode well for you and your ability to handle the United States economy and tackle that. No, there's no vote of confidence there at all. But anyways, this next clip that I want to show is, you know, you saw how well composed she was in the first one. This next one is the one that's just absolutely, it's loaded with her gaffes, you know, and her word salads and her repetitious stammering that she did. It's brutal. It's brutal. But you gotta see it.
Right? Wheels on the bus go round and round. I just got,
I do believe that we should have rightly believed, but we certainly believe that certain issues are just settled. Certain issues are just settled.
Clearly we're not.
No, that's right, and that's why I do believe that we are living, sadly, in real unsettled times. It is the Caribbean nations, island nations. In the Western Hemisphere, that is where the Caribbean is. We are also in the Western Hemisphere. They are our neighbors. And talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create these jobs.
I think it's very important, as you have heard from so many incredible leaders, for us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present. First and foremost, I believe that we must take this stuff seriously as you are, because you have been forced to have to take it seriously.
So you're now no longer are you necessarily keeping those private files in some file cabinet that's locked in the basement of the house. It's on your laptop, and it's then therefore up here in this cloud that exists above us, right?
Before I begin, I do want to say a few.
When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
As a United States Senator, I was proud to co-sponsor, and then as Vice President, it was my honor, with the President, the United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance
with the Republic of North Korea. A future where we can see what is possible, unburdened by what has been. We have dreams. We can see what is possible, unburdened by what has been. I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been, you know? Who saw what could be unburdened by what had been.
All right, so as you can see, it's not good. It's not good. I know it's at the forefront of your mind, at least it is mine. The one about time, that one, that's my favorite. That's my favorite. But you can see, one thing I noticed about Kamala in her interviews as the vice president, she was very nervous. I mean, just like I said, she acted as if she had never done interviews before. So when I actually went back and saw the old ones, I remember I was watching something on YouTube or whatever, and they played a clip of where she was pretty much in a roundabout way calling Joe Biden a racist, and to see how calculated she was with her wording, and she didn't stammer. She didn't mumble or stumble over any words. There was no word salad. It was concise. It was 100% to the point, the jugular, and was taking heads. I was blown away. I was like, what is going on? So I had to pay even closer attention. And that's one thing I notice I'm very good with is noticing patterns. I always have been. It's an innate ability, and I've had some practical training to hone that skill set, that natural skill set. So to see what she was like before and to see what she was like now, and all the BS lies. And I mean, she wasn't even that great as a vice president, because you could tell with Pelosi and Obama, they were pulling back. They were not saying that she was going to be running as president, as the presidential candidate, trying to be on the ticket for the Democratic Party at all, until Joe threw her name out there. And then even Obama and Pelosi held back. They did not immediately endorse her, because they knew what kind of shit show Biden had served them. It was not good, because that's not who they wanted. I mean, they were trying to prop up Newsom. I mean, why is the governor of California going to meet the leader of China, Xi Jinping? I'm sure I'm butchering it all to hell, but that makes no sense. I think that was a litmus test to see how he would do, for one, how he'd be received, and at the same time, it was, I'm sure, because they do it a lot, where it's like, hey, look what this hand's doing, and pay no attention to this hand over here. They do that all the time. Trump does it. All of them do it. So they did not want Kamala to run for president. So when Joe put her out there as a slap to the face, because of course they forced him to drop out. That's exactly what happened. Because he was not supposed to be running for a second term, and now the only option they had, because if she didn't, then they would also, there's $80 million that was right there that had gotten donated to Joe for Biden for his campaign. They would have lost the $80 million had they not accepted and endorsed her and just plug and played Kamala Harris in that position. They would have lost that money and had to start from scratch. Of course, they did really well. Like I said earlier, $1.5 billion to end up broke and $20 million in the hole owing your people. That's really bad. But anyways, I think it's very apparent to me, and this is all my opinion and everything, obviously. She let her ego get her in the position she was in. She was not aware of what it would cost her at all. Had no clue. Was unaware of how difficult it was going to be to give to them what they required. And found herself way in over her head. That's why they stopped ever showing her again, especially after the whole border czar BS fiasco fell through, and then walking that back. She was never Joe's border czar. There's like 50 reels of footage out there stating, even the media was calling her that. And that's another reason why the Democratic Party lost, because they were just lying on top of lying on top of lying on top of lying. And that's the thing where they couldn't even get Trump on some of the stuff. His felonies that he got were a joke. There's the felonies he got actually convicted of are a joke by comparison to the other charges. It's a mother effing joke. That's why most people don't care. The country doesn't give a shit about those felonies. Fox News had it spot on. News Nation had it spot on. Nobody cared about those. Those were the least worrisome felonies. And like, oh no, Trump's a felon now. Oh God. We might as well call him a felon. You might as well just convict him of robbing a damn balloon factory in excess of $500 or $5,000, whatever qualifies for a felony. It might as well have been that stupid. That's what it was. It was stupid. But they come at him so hard and so fast with so much crap on top of their lies, even if any of those are true. Like, first of all, the whole the top secret documents case too. Well, you're hypocrites. Joe Biden did the same thing as vice president. You're hypocrites. He did it when he wasn't even allowed to. The president can do those things. The vice president does not have access to those to declassify anything. And he was found too senile to stand trial, but was still good to go as president of the United States. More BS, more lies that Kamala had to support, which killed her and then let's just wrap it up and tie it with a nice little pretty bow and let her say that her values have not changed when they're trying to sell her as a moderate. When she is she's as far left as damn near as far left as you can go. That's a bad idea, because she tried to do a 180 on a lot of different huge matters that the country hold in high regard. The wall, Medicare and private insurance, or Medicaid and private insurance. What else was it? Oh, fracking. And it was like she said she was against it, and then she was for it. She's against it, and she was for it. Against it, for it. They were trying to sell her as rebranders. They were saying, of course, that was poor planning and advertisement on her team's part, because you don't want to say rebrand, especially when you're trying to run for president of the United States. I think that's a horrible framing and a shitty phrase to use. It's a horrible phrase to use. You're trying to rebrand a far left as a damn moderate, when we have video documentation of where she stood on these things that now she's for when she was against them not that long ago. And she ran with Joe, the president she ran with was also against what she's saying she's for now. The wall, that was Trump's, is an ego thing for Trump, And now I'm for building a wall. I'm gonna completely eliminate and ban fracking. No, I'm for fracking now. Oh, I'm a gun-toting, amendment-loving woman. You step in my house, I'm gonna shoot you. Like, you have not been very supportive of the Second Amendment at all, and now you're a gun-toting, trigger-happy person. The NRA would love. and conservatives would love. No, you're not. That's the problem. So let's actually play this last clip that I pulled where it demonstrates where she clearly states her values have not changed and shows where she is pivoting on these high-profile issues that the country could see. The country could tell what was going on, and it posed to be a much bigger problem than what they anticipated, I do believe. Or they just weren't thinking it's going to be a problem at all, actually, is where they miscalculated. That it became, that right there was, and then they spoke about it even in on these left-wing media stations, how her saying, as they're trying to pull her away from Joe Biden, trying to get him, trying to separate these two, but at the same time save face, which was another thing that was funny, trying to watch them, the juggling act that they were trying to pull. But her statement clearly telling people that her values had not changed, it was not a good call at all. So, well, without further ado.
Is my values have not changed. There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So, yeah, I will not ban fracking. I kept my word, and I will keep my word. I am not for a wall. That wall ain't gonna stop them. No. I support Medicare for all. I always have.
Who here would abolish their private health insurance in favor of a government-run plan? All right.
It was not good. It was not good. You could not have made a worse decision than to do what they did with that. Those are key issues that Trump was running on, and she was trying to sell them to. And as a day late and a dollar short, not to mention the fact that she's not a moderate. She is very much she's far left. I don't like using the term woke. I'm so tired of hearing that, and I'm tired of hearing that terminology. But she's a liberal. She's 100% a liberal, and not a moderate. So that there's no way that they were going to rebrand her as such, and it has continued to get worse. She got handed her hat and an absolute spanking in the election in November. Good Lord. But anyways, like I said, I do believe as for her to run for governor of California is her best option. I think that is perfect. It's perfect for her. And I wish her the absolute best in this endeavor and that political landscape. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for listening. And please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, middle pillar perspective here. And stay classy, San Francisco. No, I was kidding. You guys have a good night or a good day, whichever the case may be. Thank you.